Our next speaker would be speaker number 4 in the order, and I believe that's Mai Foster, and staff will be making that connection.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Lee and City Council members. This is Mia Foster. I have been an Elk Grove resident for over 11 years now, and until recently, I had never really paid much attention to local politics. However, recent events have transpired within our community that have been very disconcerting to me. Statements have been made by a couple of our elected officials right here in Elk Grove about the Hmong culture, of which I'm a part of which my children are a part of. Elk Grove Unified School District Board of Education trustee Bobby Singh Allen described the Hmong community as a controlling and intimidating system used to attack and silence women. CSD Director Jacqueline Moreno demanded that the Hmong community dismantle the patriarchy within its system. And within the last month or so, op-eds, open letters, and articles have all been published denigrating the Hmong community. Just yesterday, the SACB published another article about us, just as the previous pieces that were published before it. This article sought to interpret the Hmong culture through the lens of a Western worldview. It's a worldview which continues to exhibit its dominance over minority cultures today. My understanding of everything that's been going on is that the Hmong community is being used as collateral damage in whatever personal and or political agenda is driving all of this. And the woman leading these efforts is a local political insider by the name of Linda Vu. Now, on July 12th, 2020, I actually had an online exchange with Linda where I essentially asked her to stop using her personal and political vendetta against the mayor of Elk Grove to publicly slander the Hmong community. I also asked her to please take up her grievances with the mayor at the polls this November, as I would be doing the same. And in response, Linda Vu threatened me based on information she claims to have gathered that could lead her to find out where I lived. I've since filed a police report regarding this threat that was made by Linda Vu. For someone who works in local politics, threatening a mere constituent for voicing my opinions should be a serious concern, and it violates the trust that we've placed in our political system. Linda Vu is weaponizing her political prowess to find out where her constituents might be living and then threatening them. It's Linda who's using the political system to control, intimidate, attack, and silence women. And the elected officials who've also been making disparaging statements regarding my entire ethnic community also need to be held accountable for potentially inciting hatred against us, especially during a time when Asian Americans have already been experiencing a spike in hate crimes as a result of the coronavirus. Thank you for your time.
That concluded the speaker's comments.
City Council members, throughout the duration of the conflict between the mayor and the woman who's come forward with allegations of harassment, the only councilman who's ever really defended the Hmong community was Councilmember Pat Hume. Unfortunately, that was very short-lived. In the end, his actions spoke louder than the pretty words he uttered in defense of the Hmong. And the silence from the rest of you lends credence to Elk Grove's long tradition of abuse of power and inability to address racism. The day after the last city council meeting, where one of you expressed that the issue of Bobby St. Allen's racism should be addressed with the school board as opposed to with the city council, you all unanimously and publicly endorsed Bobby for mayor, and in doing so, you blasted your own stance on the issue of racism, particularly when it's launched against the Hmong community. So much for washing your hands of this, right? The war you've been waging against the mayor year after year suddenly began to make sense to me. And I thought perhaps this has been the driving force all along behind your shady tactics to, for one, get rid of the mayoral position. In any case, in case you didn't get the memo, we have addressed this issue with the Elk Grove School Board, and we will continue to do so. Like you, they are attempting to avoid responsibility, and Bobby being Bobby, this is validation that she didn't do anything wrong. Silly girl. If you didn't do anything wrong, then the school board wouldn't be working so hard to disassociate themselves from your so-called off-duty activities, now would they? On top of that, there's mounting evidence that Bobby's racist portrayal of the Hmong people has stirred the hearts of racists right here in Elk Grove and perhaps beyond. Explicit racist statements or sentiments have shifted from the virtual world to now the city council meetings, for example, as evident by one caller at the last city council meeting who used the work of an apparently self-loathing radical to disparage and psychoanalyze Hmong men once again. And because Bobby and his supporters continues to shove the Hmong people in a box and paint all of us as thievery supporters,
1 minute remains.
Our voices as being nothing more than a political arm for the mayor, let me reiterate that being Hmong and defending the Hmong community from racism does not make one a Steve Lee supporter. The Hmong people are not a monolithic group. We represent a diverse array of backgrounds and political attitudes, and anyone who fails to make this distinction are simply put a racist. I don't care if you're 3% Hmong. I don't care if you think you understand our kinship system, because your own culture may or may not be similar. I don't care if you're a former Hmong turned Korea boo. None of that is an excuse for racism. Thank you.